Hi everyone, this is Ilina and welcome to another LDRS creative card video. In this card video, I'm using the Cherry Blossom stamp set in a little bit more out of the box way. I'm just using this sentiment, the big sentiment hugs, along with a smaller or thinner sentiment that says "You're the best." And I'm using some leftover cardstock strips that I know any of us can find in our crafting area. Usually I cut those to about a ½ inch wide, and then the length is here I cut them down to 4¼ as long as when we have card front. However, I cut my cardstock to 4 by 5¼ inches so we can layer it onto top folding white note card. So I'm spraying that panel with spray adhesive. You can use any adhesive of your choice. I decided that the spray adhesive it's a little bit easier for me, especially when I'm working with strips. Because my strips were sized to cover a full card front, which is 4¼ by 5½. So there I left a little bit of that orange strip there, and you can notice that the strips they go a little bit off the side, and here I'm using 5 colors, so we'll do 5 and then we're gonna repeat them in the same order. You can do as many colors as you want or as little as you want. You can do 2 colors, 3 colors, 4 colors, or even 10 colors to cover that each strip to be different color on this card front. So I'm using some pink, some blush, orange, like yellow, green, and some teal. Here I had cut that strip a little bit crooked, so it wasn't layering nicely. So I swapped it, and then we're going with the lightest color, the blush. So I'm just going to put acrylic block to hold that in place until it dries. So we have that. I think it's done pretty nicely. And then I'm just gonna grab my paper trimmer. I'm gonna cut those leftovers. So our panel is 4 by 5¼ So I'm just cutting around the edges there. So we have that panel. Next, what we'll do is I'll apply the anti-static powder pouch or powder to my card base. Not the card base, but the stripped panel. And I'll grab my hug sentiment from the Cherry Blossom stamp set. And then the little "You're the best" sentiment. So since I wanted to position the "You're the best" over the G on the bottom, it goes over the darker pink. So I'm going to stamp that sentiment onto the darker pink strip. So first I'm going to stamp hugs. And I'm using the watermark ink. And since we have strips here and it's kind of a little bit uneven surface, I'm stamping that hugs a couple times. I'm using stamping positioner to make sure that I have it on the same spot. So I'm going 3 to 4 times. And next I'll apply white embossing powder. I have poured here in a big container, so it's easier. I use a lot of white embossing powder, so it's easier to apply onto my projects. I will heat set to melt that embossing powder completely. And I'm putting it back in my stamping positioning tool and stamping again over it. I'll repeat this few times so we have nice and thick embossed sentiment. So it gives like a little bit more dimension to that sentiment and stands out a little bit more. So I did it here 2 times, and we'll go for another time. And between each layers I'm applying the anti-static powder. So it keeps all the stray particles of the embossing powder off where I don't want to be embossed. So I'm just drying there, kind of shook it to dry, and I am stamping it one more time. This is the last time, the fourth. So just added the embossing powder. I'm just melting it here. So I'm putting that aside, and next I'll just stamp here the best sentiment. I'm stamping it twice to have nice coverage, since I'm stamping on colored cardstock, which is a little bit more rough texture than the white cardstock. So by magic of YouTube, I had cut out that strip, and next I'm adding some fun foam on the back of that stripped panel. I'm using some adhesive tape. You can use again any adhesive of your choice. And then I'll adhere to a top folding white note card, and for this side I'm using a liquid adhesive, which gives me a little bit more wiggle room when I want to make sure to position it straight. So I'm adding that acrylic block so it dries flat, and then I'll just add some foam adhesive on back of the sentiment and adhere that to my card. So for the finishing touch, I'm adding some white enamel dots, and with this we have finished our card. So here's a little close-up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the LDRS YouTube channel so you keep up to date to all the projects posted here. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. Bye!